There we go.
Sorry? I remembered your pictures.
Welcome to the course in
from your camera.
welcome to the course of love.
They're in here somewhere.
I appreciate us being here tonight. I love to get together and remember the truth together. And the main thing I want to ask you to remember is that you do not have to believe the ideas. You do not have to believe the ideas. You don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it. But if you use it, you'll see that it works. And I'm asking you to be on the lookout for your special sentence. The thing that you hear me say that you know you came here to hear. And it might not even be related at all to what I think I'm talking about. But you will know it when it hits. And if you have the book, we're on page 221. And we're at the section, paragraph 25-21. And the name of that, it starts off with, "This will be a time of discernment." This will be a time of discernment and closeness and intimacy.
Hey, Jenny.
All right, so let's start off with this paragraph. There will be a time of discernment. I'm going to read the paragraph and then I'm going to share what I see it saying and then open it up to questions or comments and then we'll go to the next one. If you get really hot, sweat. Just thought I'd give y'all a little bit of advice there, okay?
You have your my permission.
Yes. Boy, if this isn't a great cult picture, I don't know what it is.
There is a pillow here.
Om Namah. Om Namah. Om Namah Marie Chevalier. 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 Okay. Okay. This will be a time of discernment. This will be a time of discernment. This will be a time of discernment. You may feel it as a time of decision making. Interesting. This will be a time of discernment. You may feel it as a time of decision making. But the less you attempt to make conscious decisions, the quicker your unlearning will take place and the lessons of discernment occur. Discernment is needed only until you are better able to comprehend the whole picture. You only need discernment until you are better able to comprehend the whole. Comprehension of the whole is aided by a return to wholeness of the self. Until wholeness of the self is complete, discernment is necessary. Until we are one again, until we are whole again, until we are happy again, discernment is necessary. Now, let me go to the next paragraph because it describes more about practicing discernment. My chakra's on fire.
You want us to blow the fan on you?
Yeah, go ahead and blow me.
Didn't know it was that class.
This is the advanced class. You didn't know you were showing up for the advanced class.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, I'm telling you. You hit the jackpot. Practice discernment by being still and awaiting wisdom. Your feeling of being identityless will make decision making and choices of all kinds to appear to be difficult during this time. The fact that I'm not actually 100% sure of who I am. I need to have it up here more often.
Yes.
When I have oodles of room, it'd be like 5 of us. Okay. I found the secret. I'm gonna do my next class in the closet.
That's a different class.
Okay. Practice this. Practice discernment. I got the right group in the house. Absolutely. People who know how to laugh and play. Thank God. Thank God. You must realize decisions and choices are made by relying upon the very lessons you are in the process of unlearning. Don't worry if you understand anything I'm saying right now. This is all part of getting centered. At the same time, however, decisions and choices will seem to need to be made with increasing frequency. As you begin to learn discernment, you will notice that decisions and choices will seem to need to be made with increasing frequency. Your feeling of needing to make new choices, while strong, your feeling of needing to make new choices will not necessarily reflect real need, but your feeling that you need to make new choices are reflecting rather an impatience with the way things are. Interesting. Feeling like I need to make decisions are coming more from my impatience, rather than it's more than a need. It's not like I really need to do it. I'm just impatient, and I need to do something different right now. You will want to force change rather than wait for change to arrive. So a lot of the decisions that we're making right now is because we're impatient, we're being told, and that we're trying to force change right now because we're impatient, rather than really understanding what our real needs are, and then trying to make a change based on our real needs. Most people are trying to make a change because they're impatient, and they're ready to force things into something other than the way that it is. Anybody relate to that? Okay, just wanted to check in. If you acknowledge your impatience as a sign of readiness for change, that does not necessarily require action on your part. You will feel some relief. I'm going to say that again so I'll hear it. Earl, if you will acknowledge that your impatience is a sign of your readiness for change, but it doesn't necessarily require action right now. I'm impatient, I'm ready for change, but it doesn't necessarily require action right now. You feel some relief. I'll say it again. I acknowledge that I'm impatient, and my impatience means I am ready for friggin' change. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for change. I don't have to necessarily do anything right now, but I need to just acknowledge that my impatience means I'm ready for change. And so what I've noticed in doing A Course of Love or any of these truth books is whenever it says do something, I just go ahead and do it. Like if it says acknowledge your impatience, then I go, I acknowledge my impatience as a sign that I'm ready for change that doesn't require action right now. I'll say it again. I acknowledge my impatience as a readiness for change that does not require action right now, and I feel some relief. Any questions or comments about those two paragraphs? Any ahas?
It's my life right now.
Okay, would you elaborate a little bit on that for me?
Huge change going on in my husband's business. I mean, huge, massive change with, family members leaving and all kinds of horrible things. But as I'm sitting back and watching it all, it's amazing. It's amazing the pattern that's taking shape. And every time I jump in there and start mouthing off or something, I just sort of go, it's almost like I look at that and go, what was that? So when I back off, then it's like it goes on with the pattern that's forming. And I don't know what that pattern's going to be, but it's really cool because I don't have to know.
That's right.
Yeah,
right.
That's such a relief not to have to. I don't have to make it. I'm happy not to. I'm just happy to sit on my ass and go, bring it on. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's bad.
Well, always remember, sitting on your ass and doing nothing is a very high state.
Yeah.
It's allowing.
Yeah, it's sometimes that's how we allow change to happen. Is I need to do nothing, And it's the right decision because you feel peace about it. That's how you know. You know, you feel peace about it. Anybody else in here feeling impatience?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That they're ready for change
Yeah.
and they're being tempted to try to force it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just take a breath and realize it's okay to acknowledge that you're in a period of being ready for change, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do anything right now. And then just kind of give yourself the relief of that feeling. Anybody else?
I'm just trying to change careers, get a job, get my life started again after a financial disaster. A lot of times I just want to bury my head in the sand, but then I have days where I'm just like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And it's like, and I know desperate's not gonna get me anywhere.
Following guidance will.
Following guidance.
See, everything that you're going through that seems like it's beyond your ability to handle because it's so much. Do you know that the only reason why it's happening ultimately is to give you, to get you to the position you'll give up and stop trying to handle everything alone?
Perfect.
And that's true for everybody in here, including me. All of you right now, that you got something you're dealing with and you just feel like you're overwhelmed, the reason why it's increasing is to get you to the point that you realize you can't handle it alone anymore. And you should start turning within to connect with Source to see if you can start receiving guidance. That's what all the world craziness that's happening right now, all of that is to get us to the point that we'll start turning to a higher power, start asking for guidance, start going within. So the more you tell yourself you've got to handle it, the more stuff is going to happen.
Bad stuff.
Not necessarily bad stuff, but stuff that you feel like you're an overwhelm about.
That's what happens
more
when you're a
stuff.
control freak.
Right, that's what I'm
Which
saying.
which
That's
I
what I'm saying.
am.
That's what I'm saying. Control
You
freaks,
try to control it more
for
and
control
more.
freaks to get on a spiritual path, they have to attract things that they can't control. That's the only way control freaks learn how to stop trying to control everything. So control freaks are ordering situations and relationships and circumstances that's going to break them down. So that they can finally have it easy. It's not to break them down so they'd be worse, but it's to break it so you'll get out the way and finally start letting the universe do something through you. So many people, and I've said this often, and I need to say it for myself. I'm teaching myself, by the way. I need to say this because if you want the stuff that's pressuring you to start to back off, you have to let go of the idea that you are the one that's got to handle it all by yourself, because it's showing up to force you to give up that point of view. It's going to keep on increasing until you go, help me. I need another way to look at this. I really don't know what to do. I can't handle this. I need assistance. I want support. That's what it's all about. So just keep that in mind, that you're actually increasing the stuff that's pressuring you by trying to handle it alone. So every time every time you go back to the drawing board and go, okay, here I go again. I'm getting additional information so that I can handle it. That's still a totally ego perspective. I'm studying all these books so that I can handle it. That's still not taking into account your higher power, your higher self. That's the difference between a spiritual class and a manifesting class. A spiritual class is about self-realization and getting rid of blocks to the awareness that you're loved and that you're powerful and that you're innocent and that you're the creator of your experience and that you're here to wake up to who you really are. A manifesting class is just about more toys. And that's innocent too, but that has nothing to do with spirituality. It's not condemnation, but the purpose of it is to begin to make people aware of the connection between what is coming and happening in their life and their own thoughts. That's the whole purpose of books like The Secret and How to Manifest. The real purpose of those books is usually that's the average person's first introduction to the idea that there's a connection between their thinking and what they create. And the easiest way to get a person to be open to that is to say, if you visualize and think car, and you want a really pretty car, a car will show up. if you want a real pretty body to play with, that you'll call a mate, a soul mate, or whoever. You know, it's just introducing us to the idea that our thoughts are creative. And then when you start your spiritual quest, it's when you go, I want peace. I want to know my connection to source. I want to get in touch with that which created me so I can be guided instead of trying to figure all this stuff out. And everything is accelerating so fast right now that to handle what's coming up, you have to really learn how to pay attention to guidance and intuition. Because thinking will be too slow. Figuring things out will be too slow. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Things are happening so fast, you're gonna have to know how to intuitively know which way to go. You won't be able to sit back and figure everything out. You know, so like when I took martial arts, you know, you learn all these different forms so that if a situation comes up, you'll automatically do it without thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying this so I can automatically do it without thinking about it. Okay? So
nervous breakdown.
well, the nervous breakdown is again nothing but successfully failing to handle things alone, which is cool.
Successfully failing.
Yeah.
You're successfully failing to handle things on your own, which is going to get you to the point again that you give up and say, I surrender. There must be a better way. I'm telling you. So if you were just to go ahead and voluntarily say, I give up, there must be a better way, then you could have the success today. Or if you would put it in the form of a question, which I'm saying every week if I have to, live in the question, because the universe is asking us to start to ask. Even the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. But we don't ask, we tell. Right? We make up our mind about how something should go, and then we ask God.
Yeah.
Notice that? I work it all out of my mind. They said, God.
Make it so.
Yeah, make it so. So we,
Make it so.
so really we treat God like a genie that you rub a lamp and you just get a wish. And so God is real if I get my toy or my wish. God isn't if I don't. Or I say stuff like, God, decide for me if this relationship is the right relationship for me. And then the person disappears. And then you'll say, God didn't answer me. I think that was a pretty good I think that was one of the most obvious answers in the world. They disappeared. That you never heard from them again. They didn't call you anymore. And the ego will be going, oh my God, what happened? I thought we really had something going. You just asked God to help me. God did. That was the worst person you could have ever wanted to be with, but you didn't know it. You know, hindsight is always 20/20, isn't it? When you look back, you see everything clearly. And of course, says no. You look back and you will be wrong because you didn't even know what should have happened in the first place. So how can you evaluate whether it was right or wrong, right? Yeah, brother.
When you were talking about giving up and letting go and whatever, the way my head works, like if I do that with my family, then I kind of feel like I'm a failure. That I'm not fulfilling what I'm supposed to do because I was taught that you take care of your family.
So they get loud all of a sudden. And I know that's what I'm going to hear on the video more than anything is the whirling of it, but it's too hot not to have it on, so it's a dilemma. Go ahead.
That's what I struggle with, is the turning it over part or giving up, because I feel like I'm not being successful. You know, I'm falling short of what my ego tells me how I should be as a father, as a husband, as a person. That's what I struggle with.
Well, see,
I have a hard time with that because.
Well, if you were to accept what you just heard, you would no longer be in struggle. Your struggle.
Yeah, it sounds so easy.
Well, that's why. That's
it's
because
almost too easy.
Right. That's why we don't do it.
My brain has to complicate.
Right. Well, the Course says that simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds. But the first time I read that, I went, I think I've been insulted. if I'm not mistaken, that sounds suspiciously like an insult. I said, it's the truth though. You just said it. You just said it. One of the biggest breakthroughs in my life was when I realized that happiness was a decision. That was one of the biggest breakthrough moments in my life, was when I got, because I always thought happiness was just on the other side of the thing I got outside of myself. And so as soon as I got that, I was going to be happy. And then all of a sudden, through studying the course, I got to the point that I realized, you know what, I could just decide to treat you right. I could just decide to be peaceful. I could just decide that this is a cool day. But my ego always wants to come up with something outside of myself that needs to change for me to be happy.
Make it harder than
Because as soon as I make it dependent on anything or anybody outside of myself, I've just made it hard. Because I don't have any control over you. So if I said that my happiness depended on you, I just set myself up completely. But if I said, you know what, this is a cool day. The weather's beautiful outside. There's cool juicy beings in front of me. We studying the truth together. You know what? I'll be happy and satisfied in this moment. There's nothing missing in this moment. There's nothing lacking in this moment. Wow. And if I was really willing to be there, then the truth says, well, if that peace would extend to the next moment. Because I'm happy in this moment, well, you know the next moment's going to arrive. It does that. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, continuum.
They always, the one moment always seems to come after the next one. So if I could ever at any point allow myself to 100% be in this moment, it would automatically move me into the next moment feeling peaceful. Or if I could feel peaceful about not being peaceful, I would have peace in the next moment. If I would have let go of the condition that I had to feel good in every moment and just let myself feel how I feel in each moment, I feel better in every moment. You see? But the minute I set it up that I got to be happy in every moment, then you know what the next thing's going to happen? I'm going to come up with what I think is going to make me happy in the next moment. And then it's usually going to be something that's not happening in that moment. Because if it was, I'd be happy. Right? So I'm immediately projecting my happiness into the moment that I'm not having. And wondering why I'm miserable in the moment I'm having. Well, I just projected my happiness into next week. Or the weekend. You know, when the weekend comes, I'll be able to party. So I've just sentenced myself to 2 more days or another day, to Friday, of not having a good time because now I've decided it's weekend. So it's like discernment is the key, and realizing that maybe your desire to make decisions right now is coming from an impatience because you're trying to force change, and then just be willing to say to yourself, I'm feeling impatient right now, which means I'm ready for change right now. And I'll just be there. I'm ready for change right now. I'm ready for change right now. See how that feels? All right, let's go to the next paragraph. It says, when action, and also you're looking for your one sentence. Not everything I say. You're looking for the one thing that I say or somebody says that you know you came here to hear, because it's no accident you're here. It really isn't. Out of all the places in the universe you could be, you chose to be here. Think about that. Out of all the dimensions of the universe, all the worlds upon worlds, you chose to be here with me.
Yay, us. Victory.
It's like, well,
Victory.
Isn't that special? And I'm so glad, because you helping me remember who I really am. So, when action is seen to be necessary, this is exactly what this is so deep. When action is seen to be necessary, this is exactly when a time of stillness is needed. When you're most ready to go out and make another mistake. And you're just feeling the urge so strong. That's when you need to be still. That's different.
We feel the vision in your class.
You feel the what?
We feel the vision in your class.
I hope so. Yeah, thank you. You might think of this time of stillness as a time of consulting with your new identity. Go back. That's powerful. Action is seen as necessary. Sit your butt down, Earl. Why? Because right now I'm feeling impatient and I need to do something. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what to do. What? Sit your butt down. You feeling the need to do something? Yeah, I got to do something. Sit down. Be still. Consult with your identity. Consult with your new identity. What is that? What does that mean? Who is it that I want to be? Who is it that I'm seeing myself as being? But I want to see myself as being a more loving being, a more peaceful being, a free being, a connecting being. But why don't I sit down and consult with him? Be still a minute. Ask yourself, what should I do? Where should I go? Who should I talk to? What should I say to them? Those are the questions you would ask. Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? And then follow the energy. You'll be surprised at what might come to you that you weren't even thinking of. Or just over the next 72 hours for sure. Pay a lot of attention to what's being said, who you're being drawn to, who's coming into your experience.
Are you saying you have to sit still for 72 hours?
No, I said within 72 hours. Now, if you really want to be successful, you would sit still for 72 hours. But that would be too much to ask. That would be too much peace. And we're not ready for that much peace. I wouldn't want you to do 72 hours. That'd be too much peace. We got to work up to 72 hours worth of peace. That's what you would have if you were being still consulting with yourself.
72 minutes is hard.
Yeah. Until your peace becomes more important than your conflict. At some point on your spiritual path, your peace will become more than your conflict. So you'll actually do what's being suggested. You'll actually find yourself doing it. Lo and behold, I'm anxious. I'm getting ready to do something, and I go, okay, I'm feeling anxious. I need to sit down and consult with myself and let God. So this is the way it works. If you're in a period right now that's an ebb cycle. An ebb cycle is a cycle when it looks like everything's going out instead of coming in. It looks like it's not working the way you think it should work. It's not flowing the way that you think it should. Things are not happening easily. You're in an ebb cycle. When you're in an ebb cycle, that's when most people get impatient, think they need to do something, and they try to go out and force things to happen. That's the worst time to try to do something, is when you're in an ebb cycle outwardly. An ebb cycle is when you should study as much as you can, give yourself as much quiet time as you can, contemplate and ask yourself, what is the lesson in this? What is the lesson that the universe is trying to teach me in this right now? It's a time to go in when everything on the outer is giving you a hard time. Where the average person, out of their fear and impatience, that's when they go, things are really going crappy, so I better really get busy. And that's the not doing just the opposite of what we're being told. Stillness is needed, but instead of stillness, you're doing just the opposite. You're going out against the energy. And then people do the other thing when the flow cycle is happening. The flow cycle is when everything seems to be pretty easy, no real crisis going on. Maybe it's not the most exciting time, but it's pretty cool. You can sit at home and watch TV and check your favorite show out. You got enough money to pay your bills, even though it might not be as much as you. In other words, everything just seems to be pretty peaceful. That's when people kick back. That's when they actually do just the opposite. They go into stillness and they just kind of lay back and enjoy the flow that seems to be happening. But actually, that's when you need to be extending, projecting, creating, going after what you want the most, because the universe is already showing you it's flowing with you, baby. But you're taking the flow time to watch TV. You're innocent. But that's the same time that goal you've had for a long time, that desire you've had to create for a long time, all the changes you've been wanting to make, that's letting you know the universe is like going, hey, look, obviously you're not in a hard time because I'm not giving you a hard time. So you're in a flow cycle. You should be really going for what you want. But most people take that to mean let me just take it easy now because things seem to be going pretty good. That's the way. So that's how people have it exactly reversed. When they're in an ebb cycle, when they should kick back, because ain't nothing finna happen out there yet, because you haven't changed nothing inside yet, so nothing on the outside is gonna change, right? But what do? They try to force the change on the outside without changing the inside, which changes the outside. Flow cycle, everything flowing, is they kick back because they think that means everything's going all right, so I just need to take it easy. Well, that's when you can make things happen the easiest because nothing is opposing you. It's flowing with you. So if you got the reverse going right now, it looks like it's a ton of stuff that's going on in your life that's driving you crazy. The best thing in the world you could do for yourself right now would be to take at least 1 hour a day where you simply read, study, and meditate. Where you don't leave out the house that morning before you take your favorite spiritual book, whatever that might be, and spend an hour with it. And if you don't have one that you're willing to do that with, it's not your spiritual path. You need to throw that book away, or you just put it aside. Because if you can't get up and use it, if you can't get up and ever read this, then it's not really what you're trying to use right now. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. If I say, get up in the morning and spend an hour with what you see to be the thing that's going to get you out of the problem, and you tell me you can't do that, then you're not really excited about your path. And you're not bad. You're just kidding yourself. And that's okay. Only problem with that is that whenever you deceive yourself, you always know it because it always hurts. Deception is pain. So wherever you're hurting the most is where you're deceiving yourself the most. Wherever you're hurting the most is where you're not practicing your truth the most. Wherever you're experiencing the most lack is where you're not practicing the rules and laws of love and abundance. It's easy to tell where you're not applying the truth. It's wherever you are most unhappy. Wow. What area of your life are you in the control of? The area that you're unhappy in. What area of your life are you letting love be in control of, spirit be in control of? It's the area that you're most happy in. What's the hardest area to have happiness in? It's the area you're most attached to the outcome in. Okay, what is the area that it seems like it's the hardest to get it to go the way you want? That would be the area that you are most attached to the outcome. In other words, you've made your happiness dependent on that outcome. But the quickest way to get an outcome that you think you want is to first achieve a state of mind where you would be peaceful if it didn't happen. It sounds paradoxical, but the easiest way to manifest is if you make the decision that you're going to be okay if it doesn't manifest, while sincerely wanting it. But I sincerely want that, but if it doesn't happen, I'm still going to be okay. Will manifest something a lot better than I got to have that. And if I don't have it, then I'm going to be really upset. You can pretty much count that ain't happening. If you look over your experience, you'll see that what I'm saying is exactly true. The person you had to have no matter what, that's the person that has the restraining order out on you. The one that's so important that without them you wouldn't be happy and you over behind the bush watching their apartment. That's the one God ain't gonna give to you. Thank goodness for their sake and yours. Remember that commercial I saw with the girl sitting up in the tree watching the guy that she had just had a date with talking about how great it was. She didn't realize she had a problem. If you're in the tree watching him, then we know that we headed down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? So, just little things like that. Just little things like that. So here's a little pop quiz. What should you do when you're most tempted to take action because you're impatient?
Be still.
Be
still. Okay, and then when you're still, who are you going to consult with?
Let God. God,
New
you're
identity.
my God.
Yeah, or your new identity, what you're trying to get in touch with. Then it goes on to say, simply sitting quietly and posing the question or concern that is in need of appropriate action will suffice. Sit quietly, pose the question or concern that is in need of appropriate action. That would be enough. Which I would go, if it was a financial situation that I thought I was concerned about, then I would sit quietly and say, what would it take for this financial situation to be resolved peacefully beyond my wildest imagination through the divine? See, that's an answer. Sounds too simple. I'd much rather go figure out how to go out here and make somebody give me some money. That's what the ego is going to say. Who can I go talk to? Where can I go? Who can give me a loan? How can I get that job? What is that? It'll come up with everything other than, I'm feeling anxious. That's my clue. I need to be still. Once I'm still, I need to consult my higher self by posing the question that I'm concerned about. That's my job. That's my part. So I would ask the question, what would it take for blank, 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 blank to be resolved in ways beyond my beyond my wildest imagination, through the divine, through the Holy Spirit, through the universe, whatever name for God rocks your boat. Okay? That's it. But don't knock it till you try it. If you haven't tried it, you don't know if it works. Right? When an answer comes to you, notice it said when the answer comes to you, the answer will come to you. Like if you ask for a relationship that to show, what would it take for the right relationship to show up for me in ways beyond my wildest imagination through the divine? The relationship will come to you. And when you least expect it, probably when you don't care. That's usually when they show up, is when you okay if it never shows up. That's when they come, right? And they usually come in bunches. A bunch of folk.
Is it because we're in that flow place?
That's right.
Where we're just kind of,
Yeah, what you're doing is you're recognizing that in order to change the outer, you need to change the inner. And the way you change the inner is to ask the question of your divine self. Because that is the Course says that to change your mind is to place your mind at the disposal of true authority, which would be the greater self. So you really haven't changed your mind until you're giving your mind to something greater than your mind. Changing your mind doesn't mean I'm just trying to figure out another way to handle it by myself, because you really haven't changed your mind. Why? Because you're still you trying to figure out how to handle it by yourself. So you really haven't changed your mind. You just changed the direction you pointing your mind, trying to do the same thing you've done before. So you haven't really changed your mind until you go, I'm going to try to tap into something greater than I know. Now you changed your mind. That's real change of mind. Okay. While you will at times doubt you have received an answer. Some of the times you're going to doubt you received an answer. Sometimes you're going to doubt you received an answer. Sometimes you're going to doubt that you received an answer. Sometimes you're going to doubt that you've done what? Received an answer. Or you're going to doubt that you received the correct answer. You know, the correct answer might be, let them go. Huh, is that the right answer? Let that go. Go somewhere else. Do it different. See, he says you'll doubt if you receive the answer, and sometimes you're going to doubt it. Why? Because you're going to always doubt the answer if you've already decided what the answer should be, and you're hearing something different from what you've decided the answer should be. That's what doubt the answer means. Wait a minute, now you should have said, stay there. This must not be the answer. Because if it had been the answer, it would say, stay there. The answer went, no, don't. So you doubt the answer only if you've made up an answer. Interesting. Because what would you have to doubt? What is the thing? What's the thing you got is the opposite thing that's making you doubt? So whenever you already make up your mind what the answer should be and then ask God, then you're going to feel resistance and attacked when you get an answer that's different from what you've decided. Okay? So if you feel resistance when you get the answer, it's because you've already made up the answer. You just want the Spirit to agree with you. You're looking for Spirit to agree with you. I want the answer the quickest, best way it can get to me, not necessarily the way I figured it out. That's my mantra. That's why you say, what would it take for this to show up in ways beyond my wildest imagination? You say it that way because you're giving the universe permission to give it to you in ways you didn't think of, which might be the fastest way to get it. Which is obviously... I mean, when you think about it, obviously the fastest way to get it is some way you ain't doing it. Right. You really get right, yeah, because it ain't happening. So your way, obviously, ain't the fastest way, right? Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to guilt you and I'm going to shame you and I'm going to make you do it my way. That's what I'm going to do, especially in relationships, right? That's what we do it. I've done it. Haven't you ever done it? You never tried to make anybody feel guilty in order to do what you wanted them to do?
Maybe once.
You did it once. I'm so glad somebody, you're the only person, me and you, nobody else in the whole room. They was looking at me like, you've been angry and tried to make somebody do something they didn't want to do before? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they sometimes did the cruelest thing of all. You know what that was? They did it. They responded to my guilt and anger and shame and tried to please me. That's a shame because that further convinced me that attack and control worked. The person who saved me was the one when I tried to pull that guilt, shame, anger stuff that said to me, I'm not going to do anything that you say as long as you talk to me that way. I'm not going to even listen to you until you come at me in a different way. Then I escalated. I know what the problem is. I'm just not acting angry enough. That's the solution. I need to be a maniac. and if I be a maniac, they'll really give in. So when you first at that point that you want to stop someone from coming at you in a way like that, you have to go through the scariest moment of all. When you hold your ground regardless of how angry they get and how much they threaten you. Until they absolutely get that it won't work on you. And they'll use something else. But they won't if you give in. And most people give in because of fear of loss of love. And that fear makes them go ahead and allow themselves to be controlled and manipulated. Manipulated.
So much easier. That's too bad.
Oh God.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah, nip it in the bud. Yeah, that's an appropriate statement for Colorado. If this ever was a state to nip it in the bud, it would be Colorado.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
If you had told me 30 years ago that I would ever ride down the street in the city and see giant pictures of marijuana plants with lights around them on the billboard, I would have said you were complete. That would have been as impossible as somebody telling me that there would be an African American first lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like impossible stuff for black folk. You don't understand. There's a whole race of people that's had a whole paradigm shift because they saw what they felt was impossible. So you're never the same. When impossible becomes possible, your mind shifts.
Yeah.
The kind of relationships and people that are in my life now, there was a time I would have thought it was impossible to have people that sane and that loving in my life. I would have told you there's no way that they even existed. But it was weird. I changed. Everything changed.
Transformation.
And that's exactly what it is. Just like you don't know that coming here tonight is going to change something for you. Not because you understand anything I'm saying. It's because of your willingness to listen. That's all the universe wants from us. It's a sign that we're willing to have something be different. And when you do stuff like this, it's just symbolic of your willingness to be helped by the universe.
Yeah.
What the ego tells you is about you understanding it and how well you can practice it, rather than letting you know, no, it was just your willingness that's only been ever asked of you anyway. Just a little bit of willingness to move in this direction. And you're doing that. So things are going to shift. And when they start shifting, you're going to become disoriented and confused. When you feel the disorientation, when you feel the disorientation, tell yourself this mantra. Confusion is a very high state.
Confusion is a very high state.
Confusion is a very high state.
Confusion is a very high
And
state.
if that's true, I'm on the highest level of consciousness I'm right beneath Guru God's name. At this very moment, if confusion is a very high state. Now, how do you know that's true? Because when you say it, you feel better.
Yeah.
That's how you can. If you ever want to give yourself the truth test, take anything that's happening in your life and then ask yourself, between these two choices, which one feels lighter? Between these two choices that affect, because no two choices have equal attraction. I don't care how much you think they do. They don't. They don't. No two choices have equal. You think you're trying to choose between two people or two situations or two circumstances, and you say, oh, I want both of them the same. No, you don't. If you really be still and consult, you will be able to tell that one thing makes you feel lighter than the other thing, or the other thing seems easier to accomplish than the other thing, or the other thing makes you feel like the energy leans a little bit toward that one than toward the other one. If you really be still, you will see which one you're more in alignment with. Just try it. Just try it. All during my class, I try to give practical things you can do to change. But what happens is the reason why people miss a lot of it is because I'm not saying what you thought of. And people are listening to hear what they've decided should be the answer. And the Course says that's usually you telling them what they need to do outside of themselves that's going to make the difference. And if you don't do that, it's like you never got an answer. I went there, I don't know what to do. You know, it's not what to do, it's what to think. It's not what to do, it's about what to think. And the mind's looking for, what should I do? What should I do? A true student is looking for, what should I think? What should I think? What should I think? How should I see it? How should I see it? How should I see it? How should I look at it? How should I look at it? That's what a true student is asking. Somebody that doesn't know the truth is asking, what needs to change outside of myself for this to make me feel good? Tell me who needs to make a sacrifice for me. Tell me who needs to do what it is I want them to do, whether they want to do it or not. Tell me the person that's going to rescue me. Tell me where I go for rescue. That's what the average man is looking for. Who's going to save me? Tell me where they are. I know. They're on Match.com. They might be. They might be. We'll finish this paragraph. It says, when an answer comes to you that I say, now this is what you do. When the answer comes to you, acknowledge that it is an answer from your new identity, and then express appreciation for the answer when it comes to you. So when you do get that sense of what to do, then you should do what? You should acknowledge that this answer is coming from my new identity, because my new identity loves me more than my old identity did. And then I'm going to express appreciation for the answer. Thank you for the answer that came from my new self. Thank you for the answer that just came from my new self. While you will at times doubt, 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 you will at times doubt, you will at times doubt, you will doubt, you will doubt, at times, you will doubt. You're going to doubt. at times. Okay?
No doubt.
So no doubt. No doubt you will doubt. At times you will doubt, right? So if you are told you will doubt at times by spirit, then the next time you doubt, stop making it such a big deal. You've been told you will doubt. And then what do people get upset about? Well, I feel like I'm really doubting. Well, I just told you was going to doubt. You are coming along fine. I told you would doubt. You're doubting. You're on your path. It's natural to doubt on the path. It's natural to doubt on the path. It's natural to doubt on the path.
It just clicked on
It clicked. You will soon learn, while you will at times doubt you have received an answer or that the answer you have received is correct, you will soon learn to trust this quiet process of discernment. You will know you have succeeded. 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 You will know you have succeeded when you truly feel as if you have turned the question or concern over. You will know you've succeeded when you feel like you really turned it over, and that means you allowed it to be responded to. It's interesting in a new way. Turn it over means I'm allowing this question to be responded to. I'm allowing this concern to be responded. That's what turning it over means. In case you wonder, what does it mean to surrender? It means I'm allowing this situation to be responded to. When you are guided to act in ways that are contrary to your usual patterns of action you've taken in the past, you will often meet resistance. So what is resistance? Resistance is you feeling like you're being guided to act in ways that are contrary to your usual ways of handling things. So resistance means I'm actually hearing something different from the way I do it. So resistance is a good thing because it means you are actually hearing something different from the way you do it, which is the problem. It's the way you do it. So the resistance means, because when people say, I'm going to take control of this, what they're really saying is, I'm going to use my old learning again. So when a person goes, well, I'm just going to handle this, oh, what you're really telling me is you're getting ready to do what you've already always done again. So resistance means I'm being guided to do something different from my pattern. So resistance is good. 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 Try to be lighthearted at such times. How do you do that? When you feel resistance, remember that if it doesn't matter, you just as well try the new way.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter, just as well try. It doesn't matter. I'm already up the creek. It's already not happening the way I want it. Well, just as well try the new way. What do I have to lose? So what do you do when you have the resistance and you go, well, I'm going to try this? Remember to remind yourself, instruction, remind yourself there is nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. So I just as well try it. There's nothing to lose. You will soon learn that there really is nothing to lose. It's almost like, for instance, if you're in a relationship and you don't communicate something because you're afraid you're going to lose. But you also know, and you're afraid to communicate because you think you're going to lose. But you also realize you're going to lose if you don't communicate. So you really don't have nothing to lose.
It doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't matter either way. In the way it goes, you have nothing to lose. So you just will go ahead and try the new way, right? Most people don't want to hear the truth because they know that what they're dealing with isn't real to begin with, and telling the truth will immediately reveal that, and they like to keep the illusion going a little while longer. We all know. We all know. But maybe we're not ready to give up the fantasy yet. So we don't want to have honest communication because that'll bring the end of the fantasy much faster. So if I want to keep the deception going longer, I must not communicate. So that the truth won't come out, which I already know.
That's true.
That's why I'm not saying it, because I already know you don't love me. So I don't really want to talk about it, because then we'll come to the realization even faster. You know, but I want to pretend you do, so at least if I don't talk to you, you won't tell me you don't. Right? So then I can keep pretending we got the energy going, right?
That is so real.
Right, yes, absolutely. It's so easy. It's so easy to tell who care about you, who love you, who anything. You want to find out right real quick tonight in the next 24 hours? Okay. You want to find out?
Sure.
Okay. Be yourself. And see who sticks around. Most people are afraid that they'll lose everybody around them because everybody that's around them is as a result of them not being themselves.
Being in a fantasy.
Being unreal. So, but if you want to play with it a little bit longer, maybe you want to go to a movie. But what's so cool about being yourself is what I'm discovering is I thought I would lose people if I really was myself. And what I'm finding is just the opposite. I'm drawing more people to me who accept me for who I am. Scary though, because I would have to go through the horrible experience of people who couldn't accept me leaving. That would be horrible. That who couldn't love me wouldn't be there. What a horrible experience to go through. It wouldn't it? I mean, who would punish me? Who would give me the punishment that I thought I deserved for not being good enough? I need somebody to give me my punishment. And if
You're punishing yourself.
Exactly. And I want to punish myself so sincerely that I want to make sure I have help. So I get people who punish me because it seems crazy for me to punish myself. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't look like it's happening because of you. Then that makes more sense. Because it seems crazy even to me for me to attack myself. So I have to make it look like you're doing it. But it's really me doing it. But I need you to help me so I can do it successfully. And on top of that, I get the beautiful opportunity to blame you. And I don't even have to take any responsibility for it now. It's your fault. It's a perfect setup. I punish myself. I don't feel like I had anything to do with it. You did it. I can blame you. Oh, such a great plan. That's completely crazy. Yeah.
Does our head really do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
But it does it unconsciously.
That's creepy.
I know it is creepy. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, that's gonna be the name of my book. Thank you. That's creepy. And then, yes, right. And then the next title will be I'm creepy.
And I'm with
Then
creepy.
you're creepy.
That's a blame turkey.
Then we're creepy. And then they're creepy. It's gonna be a whole creepy series.
I'm with creepy.
That's right. That would be the relationship book. I'm with creepy. And I'll release it on Halloween. See the answers I asked? The answers just coming from everywhere. So I'm going to finish this last paragraph of this stuff and then we can go out and make some more errors, okay? That'd be great. Okay, yeah. Unconsciously. Unconsciously. Yeah. Like Course in Miracles said, we get up in the morning with the goal of being right, even when we're wrong. I thought that was a great line. It's like, what is your goal today? I'm going to be right, even when I'm wrong. Okay, what's going on? So he says, okay, so here's what you do. You remind yourself that there's nothing to lose, because you'll learn there isn't. You will also soon realize why this time of engagement with life is necessary. Experience is necessary to complete the cycle of unlearning and learning. Being fully engaged with life while taking the time for discernment is uncommon. I'll say it again. Being fully engaged while taking the time to ask for guidance and discernment, he says that's not common. Putting action before stillness, that means putting activity before rest, is seen as synonymous with a full life. We must therefore speak a bit of what a full life
Wow.
is. And that's what we're going to start next week. What a full life is. All right? Okay,
What a
so
fool's life is, or what a fool's
we already know what a fool's life is. Okay, so we're going to do the love offering right now. Thank you for sharing with me so